We have established a quorum, we have 4 of us here, and it is 6:30. I will call the meeting to order now, please. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections to the agenda? I have some. Are you ready? Okay, I would like to add under item 5, which is old business, 5A, I'd like to add an update on the Andrews house. And 5B, I would like to add an update on the Magnuson house. And 5C, I would like to add an update on the Bernard Thomas mural. And, let's see. 6A, yeah, I think in the interest of time, Craig, as a courtesy, would you like us to move you up? Or do you want to sit and listen to all of ours?
If you don't mind bumping me up, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
Of course, I don't mind it. So if there are no objections, I'd like to move, item 6A up under, let's put it under 3A. Or 4, either one, it doesn't matter. I don't think we have too many communications or announcements, so we're gonna move you up under communications and announcements, if that floats your boat. There you go. Okay. You'd like to add something? Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to add a discussion on strategies for getting a new historic plan for the city.
Okay, very good. Where do you want to put that?
It could be under old business because we talked about it recently. You want to make this D under old business?
Okay. Works for me. Discussion. Thank you for remembering that. I didn't have that on my list. Okay. Is that it? Is there anything else? Is there a motion regarding the amended agenda?
Motion to approve the amended agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Rhonda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Very good. Next item is the approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any additions, deletions, corrections to the minutes? I have one little one. On page 3 of the minutes, in the last paragraph, about Chair Reedy recalled that the board had previously spoken about this as pertains to adding Leisureville or any of the large developments to our historic register. And the correction would be, and designation of those sites would be in recognition of the development's contribution to the history of Boynton Beach. And then in the last sentence, I think my pronoun should be she. Is that, you got that, Karen? You got that?
Development. Referring to the historic planner in the previous sentence, or you?
In the sentence, that Warren, we had a discussion when Warren was still with us.
Okay, so that should not be.
No, it was me talking.
Okay.
It would be my pronoun this time. Okay. Any other additions to the minutes, corrections to the minutes? Is there a motion regarding the amended minutes?
Motion approved.
Thank you, Ben. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. So, Jay, Craig, you guys got any communications or announcements for us? 1 second, it won't take long.
No problem.
No, ma'am, we don't really have. If you have any questions to us.
Oh, we'll have plenty, but that'll be later.
Just give a quick update. We had a town square north and a south parcel were approved back in April. So just a quick update. That project is moving along.
Okay, did you want to tell us now or later?
That's it, like,
That
just,
was it?
yeah, that's it, that's
We don't need
big.
to know what the update is, just that there's an update?
What, any, the emails that you sent to us,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, the director responded to this, the emails that you sent, April 29th.
Okay.
We can go over those things.
No, 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 we'll do it later. I added a bunch of things to the
Okay.
agenda later on. So we can go right ahead to listening to, Craig's presentation, that's fine.
Sure.
Could I ask her a
Sure.
favor? Could we have that TV turned toward us?
This one here?
Yes.
It's probably the same thing as
I don't
on
know if it
your
moves,
big
but-
one. Which,
Yeah.
yeah, just close the little one down a little bit.
It's the big one.
Oh, okay, that's.
There you go. No, we got it, we're okay. Oh. Thank you.
That one.
That helps me.
Thank you, Craig. All right, so we're going to hear under new business, certificate of appropriateness. You want me to read the whole thing, or you just wanna start talking?
Oh, I can go ahead and talk if you wish.
That's good.
Okay, good evening, my name is Craig Clark, I'm the Director of Recreation and Cultural Services, and I'm happy to be here tonight. As you all know, the Arts and Cultural Center, has, the city renovated that beautiful old building across the street, and we have no sign on it, so many people don't know what it is still. We're operating, several classes out of there. We are renting the facility out for different events, but a lot of people still don't know, what we are or who we are. So, can you go to the next slide, please? I just wanted to kind of give you an update of what's going on inside the building. Staff are working with a marketing consultant and city marketing to advertise the Arts and Cultural Center classes and rental opportunities for both the Arts and Cultural Center and the Historic Women's Club. That's now available again for rentals. We're almost fully staffed. Kelly Armstead is here in the audience. She's the manager of the Arts and Cultural Center, and April Cheeseborough is the Arts and Cultural Supervisor. We are in the process of, we're planning to upgrade the event hall, AKA the old gymnasium, which is a beautiful space, to a performance center for musical dance and other various types of performances. We're adding theater curtains, rigging, lighting, audio-visual, acoustical improvements, window shades, a front of house control desk, and a dressing room. The space can also double as a conference center if and when we get a hotel here in the city. A wedding venue and
wanna start? Rhonda, you have some questions?
Oh, boy. Okay. I don't have questions as much as I have a critique. Okay. Your recommendations and the staff's recommendations, I have a problem with saying that this does not, that it's in keeping with the historic character of the building. Yes, you've used a nice font, but that is not in keeping with the historic nature of this building. Illuminated signs tacked onto the front of this facade does not create the right feeling for this 1925 structure. And I think that this is just a totally inappropriate style of signage, not the style of the words, not the style of the font that you've used, but the style that you have chosen to put your sign on this wall. I don't think that it should go directly on the stucco, and I don't think that it's viewable from either direction of driving. It is perpendicular to the drive lane. So those are my first three critiques. I think that, I just think it's an inappropriate style of lettering.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody who wants to go next? You wanna go next?
Thank you, Craig, for the presentation, appreciate it. A question first, the exterior and interior walls of the cultural center, you have a light coating of stucco, then the interior is hollow brick.
I brought one, you wanna see it?
How is this going to penetrate that wall, and has any thought been given on possible water seepage, et cetera? I'm just really concerned because the brick is about yay thin, and all the bricks used for those walls are hollow.
Yeah, it's my understanding that the wall will not be penetrated at all. Let's see, I believe that it's going to be either mounted on a staging panel or a raceway to accommodate the power supply. And there's two little boxes up above the sign that have, I believe those are power sources, if we're gonna use one of those for the power.
So it'd be on some sort of,
It's gonna be on like a staging, channel. Staging panel or raceway. It'll be sitting, you won't be able to see it, but they'll be attached to like a raceway, and then the power source will be, in my understanding, is gonna be run up to the box.
How is that panel attached?
yeah, my concern is, number one, not to interrupt you, but any potential weather or water seepage into holes drilled into the building. Obviously, whatever this sign is attached to, it's gonna be attached to the wall somehow. I'm also concerned if it's some sort of board that this signage is attached to with inclement weather, hurricanes, et cetera. So I'd really like to know, at some point, something has to penetrate that wall. And yes, during redevelopment, it was structurally reinforced, but it's still a 100-year-old brick wall. I mean, that's my first concern.
Okay, that's for now, okay. Dr. Lou?
First of all, let me just say, I appreciate you increasing the versatility of that building with other kinds of activities maybe that it can be used for. I've always thought that that building needed to have more of a public face, that people, not just for classes and things like that, but that there's opportunities for the public to go in and out and see it. So thank you for all the plans you have for the gym upstairs and all of that. I really think that's great. But I do agree, I don't think that's the kind of sign probably, that isn't keeping enough with the historic character of that building. I think it looks odd on a building of that old, even though it's attractive in one sense, it doesn't fit in with the historic nature of that structure. My suggestion would be to try to find a way to do a monument sign that, maybe there will be cars parked in front of it, or maybe we need to get rid of one or two of those parking spaces, which are kind of oddly placed anyway, or just make the sign taller. I don't know what to do, but I think it might be worthwhile going back to the drawing board literally on this and thinking maybe another way where the building itself is not affected.
Good, very good. I actually brought a brick with me. This is a sample of what the high school is made of, and it's not very thick. And at some point, as Michael said, they're gonna have to drill into the wall to attach it to something. And that's not much. And the stucco is soft. They weren't even allowed to pressure clean the stucco. So any kind of penetration of the stucco is liable to introduce water seepage to the building, and I would be concerned about that. I really think, the picture that you have of the old high school, the frontal view with the shrubberies in front, that kind of imitates what a monument sign would look like in the front of it. I think, as Ben said, we should go back to the drawing board and would like to participate in helping you do something that would be more periodically appropriate and would not mess with the surface of the building. It's, when the lightning struck the corner and it sat so long unfixed, where that southeastern corner, when we were doing the demolition by neglect plan, the water did get in there, and I'm sure that was a problem. So, and your objection to a monument sign is that you couldn't see it past the parked cars? Well, look at that last picture. Jay, can you go to that last picture, please? The frontal view of the old high school, I think. Oh, it's not in your, there, you can see it right there. The shrubbery, it kind of, looks like what a monument sign would look like in front of it. And I think that people would be able to see it. Don't you think people would be able
I
to see
think
it?
you could see a monument sign better when you're driving than the one on the face of the.
Yeah, and you can light it up. You can put lights on it.
Yeah, we did add the word library to the city hall sign. It just said city hall, and many people couldn't find the library for 3.5 years until I worked for 3.5 years to get the word library put on the building, because I was the library director and I thought it needed to be on the building, and a lot of people are finding us now. So people are seeing that sign, but I understand, everybody has their opinions on what should go on this building, and if maybe we could hold some sort of meeting or workshop somehow. I'm not sure how it would work.
Maybe you could come back to us with some other suggestion. I think
Well,
we've
I'd
given
love-
you direction
Yeah,
tonight.
I would love to help. If
You
you
don't
don't,
want illuminated,
Right.
you don't want anything that bores into the wall.
Yeah, I'm also hearing though that you don't like the font. There's
No, I'm saying
there's
I do
thousands
like
of
the
font out there.
No, I said I
so-
do like the font.
Oh, you do like it?
Yes,
Okay.
I think the font is appropriate. I mean, you could take that same signage, the way it's created, and put it on a monument
Put
sign.
it on a monument sign, you'd be happy with that?
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think it should be illuminated the way you're doing because it's a 1925 structure, but you could light it from either side and get the same effect.
Frank,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
with that one.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say real quickly, with the monument sign too, you have, an ability to also maybe put something underneath that mentions that it is a 1920 Old Boynton Beach High School as well. It could be in smaller letters, but, that kind of sign, there's more you can do with it than a big lighted sign.
Yeah, Craig, I do like the logo.
Oh, thank
I
you.
like the font. Delray Square, Old School Square has a monument. Well, I guess you call it that. They have Old School Square, and then they have an area that they can basically open up, put posters, whatever event is coming up. And, I would like, if we could, maybe some discussion on that. Because I agree, the center does need, some branding out there. You know, people walk by, oh, wow, that's a nice building, what is it?
So I have a question. If we did a monument sign on the ground, would you wanna see it, the Arts and Cultural Center listed on both sides, as if you're driving by it, having two sides, or just one side out front
I would wanna see it
from both
driving.
sides?
And I think that, Michael made a nice suggestion. It could be Arts and Cultural Center at Old Boynton High School, or, is that how it's, we call it?
I think the Arts and Cultural Center.
Historic, Boynton High School. At historic Boynton High School, so that they know it's a historic structure. I mean, is it on the National Register?
No, just local.
Could you, do this, maybe three-sided? People are walking down the sidewalk, one side here, one side here, people are driving by, one side here. Maybe, near the sidewalk where that shrubbery is, but closer to the sidewalk. Would that be three-sided thing?
I would not mind just one side, because then you can make it bigger, you know, bigger, taller. If you start doing it perpendicular to the building, yeah, you can,
I like your idea.
Just
I think
big,
one big sign would be
big.
fine.
yeah.
Where that shrub is, it was faced out like that sign
Mhm.
is, and people drive by, they'll see
They
it,
see it.
especially if it's big enough.
They'll see it.
I don't think you need to have multi-sides, but I think, that would be an ideal place for it, for that shrub.
Mhm.
And have it illuminated with light shining on it, is that what you're
Yeah, you could
suggesting?
do that. I think spotlights on.
That's one way to do it. I don't mind having the sign itself illuminated. I don't have a problem with that. The way that you pictured it,
I
that's,
just don't think that's appropriate.
well, I mean, we're trying to inject a little bit of modernity.
But we don't
to-
need to, this is our 1925, this is not the
Right.
new city hall. So maybe that needs to have light shining up on it, like a monument sign, versus, you know, your LED
Yeah,
illumination.
I think spotlight's a great idea. Put spotlights.
Actually, we have spotlights already around the school that are multicolored, that maybe that would introduce another place to put color.
Maybe have different multicolors of lights that change?
I don't have a problem with that. I don't know what everybody else thinks.
I think you're gonna have to scale it down a little bit to go on a monument sign.
It is pretty
It's a
big.
little bit.
It is pretty big.
It's 8 feet long, yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty
So,
big. But, yeah,
you suggested being right in the middle where the 120, is it 120?
Yeah, where the shrub is, I think is a good spot.
Where that
Mhm.
tall
Right in the
bush.
middle.
Yeah, it seems to be like centered on the building.
well, there's a sidewalk. That's a grassy area right now, a shrubbery area.
So we have to take a shrubbery out. Okay, well, let me come up with a new design.
The graphics are nice.
Thank you. I can bring it back to you next month. Is that okay?
Sure, if you'd like to. I'd be happy to sit down with you too and help you look at some of them. I just Googled it and there's all kinds to choose from. You know, in Boca, you don't have to go far to find them.
Yeah, it'd just be nice to stay close to our branding, you know, because we're pushing out our branding to so many venues right now.
What's your branding? What other branding are you trying to tie in with this?
Can you go back a slide or two?
Go back a slide or two, you said?
That's.
Oh, I
right.
see.
Well, the monument could be that color.
Yeah, you could take that right there and carve it
That's
in the
actually
stone.
That's actually a nice font that has almost a historic.
It's a beautiful
look
font.
to it.
The original font that was painted on the front of the building in that location was just block letters. There wasn't anything fancy about the original sign.
would the signage, the structure have to be height-wise, or could you do it like the city recreation and parks, that each park has that long signage with the,
It wouldn't be that, that's kind of a monument sign in the parks, but this is not part of the recreation and
Right.
parks department anymore, so it's got its own branding now.
Mhm.
So am I hearing one-sided sign or two sides?
I would prefer the one side and just make it bigger.
Yeah. One side? Okay, make it bigger.
It looks like we have consensus.
Okay.
That we are in support of signage
Okay.
for the old high school since it
Alright.
needs to be identified.
Let me see what I come up with in the next few weeks, and, Barbara, I can email it to all of you if you wanna give me feedback, I can do that? If you speak to me individually and not as a group, cause we don't wanna break sunshine law, I can email out some new designs and maybe get some feedback from you.
Okay,
Does that sound good?
Sounds real good.
alright.
Is there a way we can improve things from our, in between meetings or not?
You can call an emergency meeting,
Yes.
I think.
We
Because
can.
I mean, how, important, I mean, how soon do you wanna have it? Cause we don't meet as much as we used to.
Yeah, well, we're gonna need it sooner than later because we're trying to make it a revenue generating department, and, again, a lot of people didn't know the library was here for 3.5 years until it said had the word library up there, and people are saying, oh, there's a library. So we need one up there soon. It's been open for 3.5 years, and
If there's a need to do it before our next meeting, I'll come for a quick meeting.
okay, I'm not sure I'm gonna have time to get it all together for less than a month, but I can.
No, we don't meet for 3 months, we meet every 3 months now.
Oh, I
So
see.
that's what I'm saying, is that we would have to vote it 3 months from now.
Oh,
That
Ben,
may be too long.
I'm sorry, we don't have to, this is just if we have items to talk about it, we can definitely schedule for the meetings. It just, the way the ordinance says at least 4 meetings per year. So whenever their signage is ready to present in front of a board, we can place it. Obviously, next meeting is gonna be too tight for the Art and Culture Center, but then they can have the following, which is going to be in July.
or what
Which
I could
gives
do is, again, send you individual emails, and you can give me feedback on a design, and once I have a consensus, once I believe I have a consensus from everyone, I can get it priced out and designed and bring it back to you. So it may be a month, maybe 2 months. Is that okay?
Fine with us, we get consensus?
Yes.
All right.
Consensus.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Last thought, Craig, thank you for doing any upgrades to the gymnasium. The audio, the lighting.
The acoustics are awful in there.
I've gone in and photographed during events that, and any additional lighting, cool.
Yeah, the acoustics are gonna be really refined, so I want to be able to hear a trio of violins in the back, clearly. That's exactly what I told.
Yeah.
They took the acoustical, the gentleman who's designing it, they said, I wanna hear it clearly from back here. So,
Are they going to be able to do that without affecting the barrel tile roof ceiling in the
They
gym?
won't need to, do anything to the ceiling, no. They'll hang some things from the ceiling, some panels, but they won't.
Attach it to the, because that's a very nice feature.
Mhm. Right, we didn't want to impose anything on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Be nice to have some chandeliers, jazz it up a little.
Do my best.
Just start generating some income here.
Yeah. All right, well, I appreciate your input this evening, thank you.
Thank you for coming, Craig, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
update on the Andrews house. Amanda was supposed to be meeting with the developer. Have you heard anything?
Uh, our understanding is that staff had a pre-application meeting, but we haven't really received any updates from the developers, property owners regarding Andrew's house yet.
I see that they've torn down that fourplex, the condo on the corner there on Ocean.
Yes, but nothing has been submitted. They just the preliminary discussed. I was not part of it, but it has not been formally submitted about their plans yet.
So you don't know when they plan to demolish the flower shop and the barber shop and all those little shops?
No, ma'am.
No idea.
Right. They just gone through they're called the Village at South, submit for the pre-application meeting. That's not even actual site plan submittal yet. So it's just preliminary. They drafted the drawings and then they had a meeting, city staff.
Is it your understanding that they're going to proceed with the drawings that the other owner, the previous owner, had submitted? Or are they changing them? You don't know.
They are changing.
They're changing them.
Yes.
Oh.
It's the based on the pre-application drawings, it's nothing same way the previous approved plans.
Interesting. So you don't know when they're going to come back to you with those
Correct.
for pre-approval?
Correct. You mean the site plan submittal?
Yeah.
We would not know until they actually make the submittals.
Are they going to do the bottom part first or the whole thing all at once? No idea. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I will try and keep my finger on that one.
Will we get to see all of that before it's approved?
You talking about the site plans?
Yes.
No, they depends on what are they proposing it, and it can be go through city commission, or it can be done through the staff level, administrative level.
So they're not touching the existing historic structure or that site? They're just building nearby?
No, based on the pre-application meeting, it appears that relocation has been discussed. It wasn't shown on their pre-application plan.
And why wouldn't your historic resource board get to approve or disapprove that?
This is not locally registered, designated
This is not a
site.
designated historic one.
Correct.
We had the report written,
Yes.
but the developer I got the impression that he does not want to have it put on the local register.
It's the oldest house in Boynton Beach.
Yeah. He suggested that the city pay to move it. So the discussion has,
Does the city have some land to put it on?
Are we talking Andrews or Magnuson?
Andrews.
Andrews, okay.
You gotta have a place where to put it.
well, the next item on our agenda that I added is an update on the Magnuson house. Which, do you have an update on Magnuson?
Can we finish with Andrews first? I got
Well,
some
that's-
questions.
Oh, okay.
I'm with Rhonda on this. I feel like we're being kept in the dark with developments on this, and we've had, the attorney come a couple times and not give us very much in the way of specifics. It's always been that we're gonna work with staff to get this, determine what we're gonna do. The last time he was here, it seemed as if, they wanted the city to move it, but then they weren't gonna tell us exactly what they were gonna do with the house once it moved, and whether even the historic structure would be preserved in any significant way. Those are questions I think we, for the oldest house in Boynton Beach, need to have answers to. And it can't, and then I don't wanna come to a meeting in 3 months and find out all this stuff has been done that is going to hurt the historic nature of that building and where it's going and what they're gonna do with it. And we haven't really heard anything. It's just gonna be a fait accompli. Is there some way we can, I know last time we talked about, Barbara getting regular updates when we weren't meeting, and I don't think she's gotten any. I think Amanda was going to keep her up to date on this. So the fact that we have no more information regarding where the house is going to go and what's going to happen with it and when and all of that, I think is a bit of a problem.
I'd like to also mention that if, okay, so it's not registered because the developer that owns it currently doesn't want it registered. Is that correct?
I cannot speak of what the developer wants or not wants.
How did it not get registered?
Because the developer hesitated. Yeah.
So who owned it before the developer?
It was sold before we had a chance to have any say on whether it could be designated.
Has it been photographed by the historic
You
planner?
So we had reports done by draft reports done in the June 11, 2023. I believe all your members received this draft. So based on the draft, you know, it is something that board actions, and that's the time that the developer came, the property owner came and did a quick presentation about their future plans. But nothing has been really given to the staff, or nothing has been really presented to the staff yet.
I know that in other cities, your city, Boynton Beach, can put in place that the developer has to find a place for it. He has to put a bond on moving it so it doesn't fall apart. And he doesn't have to hook it up anywhere, but he has to find a place for it and move it, and it's on him. And you as a city can demand that. You have the rights for him, if he wants you to give him a variance, if he wants you to give him any kind of a special compensation for his plot of land, then these are the things that you come back and say, then this is what we require of you, sir.
Right. Well, so far we
Even keeping old trees that have been on the property for 100 and some odd years, you don't have to let him bulldoze the property down to zero.
the very approved plan shows the Andrews house shown on the site plan, but they are in the process of revising their drawings. That's we had a meeting for the pre-application, but after that, pre-application drawing is not a actual submittal. It's a really preliminary stage. So city staff has not been received any their submittal packages yet. So at this point, it's very hard for us to even share or update the board with what their plans are.
Let me catch Rhonda up on a couple of things. The developer sent his attorney, he sent him twice now. And what he proposed was, okay, the city, if the city wants to pay to move it, the city can move it. But they wanted it to be moved into the northern half of their development, because it runs from Boynton Beach Boulevard, clear down to the Andrews house. The Ocean Avenue cuts through the middle of it. Okay. So, but then you want us to pay to move it, but then you want to keep custody of it.
Oh, right.
Okay. So things, talks kind of like, went to a standstill at that point, and it was left that the attorney was going to be in communication with Amanda. But the reason why I wanted to move on to the next update, which is about the Magnuson house, is that I attend city meetings. I go to the CRA meetings. The restaurant that was planned to go into the Magnuson with the little the storage things, in the lot next door, fell through. The CRA cut that man a check for $10,000 and sent him away. So now there is no deal on the Magnuson house at the moment. But guess what? City owns that piece of land to the east of the Magnuson. So if push comes to shove and the city is forced to pay to move the Andrews house, guess what?
That'd be a great location.
Let me ask let me ask you this, does he have total rights over what happens to that house? Can he tear it down if he wants?
Yes.
At this point, it's not locally registered property,
So there's no way the city can protect that house right now. He can do what he wants with it, which really kind of puts him in the driver's seat. That's sort of the impression I got, that we hadn't done anything to protect it.
I'm ready to get a banner.
Start a movement.
Well, actually, the report has been written. You know, the city paid Warren Andrews and Adams to do the report on that. So, I mean, we could theoretically just go ahead and put it on the local register and say, too bad, too sad, it's on the local register.
Well, I mean, you know, that I'm involved in Delray Beach, and we had a developer that was, I don't know if you all know Docks.
Yeah, the ice cream store. Yeah.
Well, they wanted to take that totally out, the new development. And, we got that on the national register. We got it on that whole development's on the national register, and that one was locally, designated as part of their ability to build what they wanted behind it. So, that's what, it's been a long time coming for the cities to understand that you have all the power. You have the power over the developer. And yes, they go to city commissioner, and yes, they can get it approved because they take the commissioners out for dinner or whatever they do, and get them to understand their side, their point of view. But it doesn't have to be that way, and this is an important cultural building to keep. I don't know, how do you get that across to the commissioners unless we show up and voice our opinion?
Can we make a resolution, or?
I don't know how that works.
Are you, like, maybe a motion to put it on the local register and just go ahead and do it? Knock yourself out. Go ahead.
What happens from there if we do that?
And then it's on the local register and it offers a little bit of protection.
We have to follow the procedures of that local designations. It has to go through the commission. Ultimately, they are the ones who make the decisions on this
As an
local
ordinance.
designation. Correct.
Let's try it. Let's try to save it.
So it would behoove us to do that, and then
And then
really.
it would have some sense of, they can't just tear it down, they would have to keep it on the property or allow someone to take it and put it into a.
Excuse me, are you using the microphone?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm soft-spoken, sorry. I think we would save the structure somehow or another. Saving it on that piece of property is also part of the equation, because it's always been there. But if we can't do that, the next best thing is to, maybe like you said, move it to where the Magnus House is. City owns it. It makes the Magnus House maybe more rentable because there's two structures. Maybe they could find a way to tie it together. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen.
We could have two
If it's safe,
boutiques,
if it's safe.
boutiques, tea shops,
Tea
art-
shops.
art classes,
Art-
music
art galleries.
classes. Yep.
Museum.
Anything like that. Small businesses love those quaint older structures.
Well, all of those little businesses that are gonna be demolished when they, you know, start to do the development, they need to go someplace. You know, it'd be perfect for artsy living to move into the Magnuson. The flower shop, you could probably put a flower shop in the Andrews. I don't know, are you interested in making a motion?
You seem to know the most about it, so.
Well, I'm not sure how to word it, because I've never done it before like this, but maybe it just needs to be simple. on the age and historic nature of the Andrews House. What's the address?
I'm not certain what.
Located on, Ocean Avenue. I would like to propose that that property become part of our historic,
Local designation?
local historic designation, be designated in our local register
Since the
of
report,
historic places.
since the report is already written,
And the report is written and it is located in the staff's archives. And that could be, submitted to city commission.
okay,
I would mention too, and I would add to that, that it is the oldest remaining home in the city of Boynton Beach and is worthy of historic designation.
Catherine, you got that motion?
Did you add that addendum onto that motion? Sorry, Catherine.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
And Michael seconded it, okay. I'm not sure I can repeat the entire motion, but I think the thrust of it
You
is.
want to repeat it to us?
Ms. Sexton moved that based on the age and historic nature of the Andrews House located on Ocean Avenue, she proposed that the property become part of their, and then she changed it to be designated on your local register of historic places. And then Barbara said, I don't know if this part is part of the motion. The report is written and it can be submitted to the city commission. And then Dr. Lowe added that it is the oldest home in Boynton Beach and it's worthy to designate. And then Mr. Wilson seconded the motion.
Okay, that was a pretty big long motion. Everybody okay with that motion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion is approved, very good. Interesting, let's see what happens next.
So just wanted a understanding that this has to be come back to the board again with a public notices.
Okay,
So public notice
Maybe
has
we'll
to,
have that in-between meeting.
the public notice has to send it out, and then the do you have any concerns? The reports from the Adam warrants, or using this report as a backup?
I don't have any worries. I mean, the developer, the attorney that came to represent the developer seemed to have concerns that it's decrepit and going to fall apart. And my personal opinion, I think he thinks that as soon as we go to pick it up and move it, it's gonna crumble. I think that's what he was hoping for. But
That's where you get a bonded mover. It has
Yeah.
to be under bond, you know.
And if we find out that it could be moved adjacent to the Magnuson and that, the empty lot east of the Magnuson that the city already owns, maybe we could get an estimate of the cost of the moving of it and we can encourage the city to find the money to do it, or we could be tough guys and tell the developer,
That's it on him.
yeah, that's fine with me too.
Good job.
I have a question. The Andrews home was remodeled, if you will, not remodeled, that's a bad word for it, but it was rehabbed some years ago. And the exterior is showing some age, but the interior should be in good shape. Wondered if the historic board and maybe city staff could take a tour, real quick tour inside the home to see what the,
Well, that would be at the discretion of the developer who owns it.
But a city staff requested it. You might get further.
Maybe. I don't think Warren was even granted access to the interior of it. He did his entire report from the outside of it.
Yeah. But that's a serious.
I know, certainly could be checked into to see if,
Do we know who the developer is?
They won't put it right next.
we'll have to ask Jay,
Yes,
do you know the name of the developer that owns the property now?
the villages, I can't remember, but I can pull it out easily. We can pull it out. What else?
to villages.
I just wonder if we could
This is it.
individually write letters to them.
BB notes, and then click around
This is
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's see, it's, villages,
and zoom
BB
in.
sound.
villages,
yeah.
Boynton, Ocean Ave.
It is called the BB South for the villages at south, and the BB North for the villages up north.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we,
Can I think of something along those lines?
you wanna ask me?
Well, if you tell me it's not old business or whatever, but it sort of ties in with what's going on Ocean. When I first came on the board, Barbara, I said to you, I would love to get some of those little apartments designated as historic, and you said, oh, they're individually owned, they'll never be sold. And I'm telling you that they're on the brink, and if we can't do something to make them historic, they're gonna be gone. All those beautiful little, stairways that come up, into the center like that, all the fretwork and stuff made out of concrete, all of that's very historic, and I'm sure over 50 years old. So I don't know if that's something we could look into.
Wilson's, yeah, well, as far as I know, they're condos and they're individually owned. There might be.
They are, but a developer will go in there just like Ronnie Breeze's and say, he can go up 10 stories on that parcel of land and park underneath, and you're gonna change the whole complexion of that neighborhood. That's what I am bringing up, because this is right down the street.
Well, if we had a historic preservation planner,
We could
we
address
could
that.
approach them individually.
Mhm.
Anyways. Okay. Anything else on Magnuson and Andrews? Those were the two snippets of information I had on those things. And item C that I added is an update on the Bernard Thomas mural. Ben made a motion, as we can see from the minutes, on page 4 of the minutes. What I have learned about the Bernard Thomas mural is there's no bone of contention. The church will not have a problem giving it back to the city. That we just need to get a couple of guys from Public Works with a pickup truck and the key to the women's club, and we can put it back where it belongs, lickety-split. So I'm at the point where I've gotten it that far, and I'm going to continue to push one of the assistant city managers, and maybe even the city manager, to go back over to the church across the street and get the Bernard Thomas mural back and go put it back on the wall in the women's club where it belongs. So it's not going to be a battle. There's no battle involved. It's lickety-split, easily done. Questions about the Bernard Thomas mural? No? Oh, you know me.
So are we gonna, do something to make sure it goes back?
Well, I've been working on it. I'm even getting it to that point that it's not gonna be a contentious fight, that the church isn't gonna be like mine, and not wanna give it up. We've gotten it to that point, and the artist's daughter, Sarah Bullenbacher, would love to see it back in the women's club. So it's not even a fight. It's just a matter of a physical labor at this point.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
What's the next step now to get it back in there? Who are we gonna contact and who's gonna do it?
Well, if you'd like to contact anybody, I would recommend you contact either City Manager Daniel Duggar or Andrew Mack. So it would be Duggar D at BBFL or Mack A at BBFL.us. I have a question too. I don't know whether it was screwed onto the wall or whether it was in like little brackets
We don't
holding
want
it
to
up.
get involved. It's ours.
So, but we've gotten it that far. This is not going to be a battle. It's a matter of sending 2 guys in a truck over there. Okay? So, questions, comments, And we're gonna put some kind of a, Sarah has a photograph of her dad, the artist, that we can put over the corner with has the offending flag in it, so. It should not be a problem putting it back where it belongs.
Chairman,
Mhm.
Chairwoman, I'm sorry. I just wanted to clarify that about this mural. These are sort of arts, not, this is a historic resource and preservation board. So this is really cannot be the items or take emotions for these items. This is really, we do understand it. It probably has a historical meanings and historical elements, but this is really local designations or discussion about the historical features. But this is a truly mural, which is more like associated with art, public art. So
I understand that the arts department was involved in divesting the city of the art, but the mural is considered an historic asset. And this is the Historic Resources Board, which would encompass a historic artifact. So I'm not gonna stop about the mural. I don't care who or what has told you that we can't do it because it's an art problem. No. This is going to be resolved, and we're going to resolve it. It should never have been given away in the first place because it is an historic artifact.
In a historic building.
Yeah, in a building that is on the National Register and was put on the National Register when the mural was in it. So, I'm not going to fall for pretending that it's just an art problem.
well, it's not a, we're not saying it's an art problem, but it's not really works for this board's functions for these murals. So how
To have an artifact returned to the building that it belongs in? No.
those things that what we are trying to explain, those things are can be discussed with the city managers, or cultural director, or the but it's not really both functions to take actions on these items. That's
To
what we're trying.
return a historic artifact into a historic building? I don't know, what do you guys think?
Excuse me, but didn't we have a whole presentation about it
No,
on our board?
no.
Yeah.
We never
There was no
had.
word from the city at all. It was
No, not from the
basically-
city, but didn't the lady that, from the church come in and talk to us about it?
That's a different.
It was something else.
Yeah. Now, I don't know why you're telling us that we can't do it, because I'm telling you, we are doing it.
Well, let me confirm with the directors and as well as the city managers team, because it's not really that we can. This is just something that issues that need to be more clarified, and who will be the right teams to handling. We do understand it has a historical element and it's important for the cities, but we like to have a really more thought on it and how this can be addressed. So let us take a staff, take these messages, and then have internal discussions, and including city managers team.
Okay, so,
Can I just jump in real quick? I have a
Go ahead.
question. I'm just trying to figure out all the parts of this. So it's in a nationally recognized historic building. And so it's a part of that historic building that was disturbed and something was removed from it. So it does seem like there, maybe the art thing is also intersects with that somewhat, but I do think that it because of the place where it's located and that it was part of how that building got designated as a historic landmark. It was in there when it was designated as such. Any kind of disturbance of that, to me, would be something we would have some kind of jurisdiction over. If somebody went in there and started taking down parts of the pillars or parts of any of that structure or things that were in there that were part of what made it a historic landmark that got designated as such, I don't think there'd be a question, right, that we had some kind of role to play in that, to stop it. And somehow this got done without us even knowing about it, which to me boggles the mind. Whenever a historic, property is somehow disturbed, I would think we should be involved and brought into whatever's happening there. Am I right or not? I mean,
Well, again, let us staff to take the messages and then have a further discussion with the city managers as well as arts cultural directors, and then we'll be in the communication with you next and provide you updates next meetings.
Okay, so we're gonna write that down, that we're gonna get an update from you, but meanwhile, I'll get it done. I just would like to point out that this is the Historic Resources Board, so if we had designated a tree, okay, and somebody came along and cut that tree down or dug it up and took it away, okay, would we need to consult with the city arborist then to get the tree put back? No. No, it isn't gonna work. It isn't gonna work. We're gonna get it done, with or without you, kid. Okay. What's next? That takes care of the things that I added. So we're on to board discussion regarding the possible.
No, we had another, added here.
You have another one?
We
Oh,
added
the
other
heck,
parts
the
of the
plan.
agenda. I just wanna, this is something that we talk about almost every meeting, but we never seem to go anywhere with it. We just kick it down the road. And I think it's become even more and more of a problem because, I just noticed in that, application, for, appropriateness, it even mentions in there that there's supposed to be a pre-application conference with the historic preservation planner. We have that built into parts of our ordinances and parts of what is needed in planning and zoning when we deal with historic sites. There's an expectation, there's a historic preservation planner, and we don't have one, and we have it, and no one seems to, we don't have any strategy for how to get one. And what I felt from staff is that they think that would be a good thing too. So I guess the commissioners, or at least some of them, have said that they also would like to see one. And so I'm wondering, what can we do in terms of a concrete action to try to get this more on the budget for next year or on the agenda to get this done so we don't just keep talking about it. We've talked a lot about how we want to have historic districts, we want to do a new survey, all these things that necessitate a historic planner, and we don't have one. So none of this ever is going to none of it's ever going to happen. They were going to work with interns and FAU to maybe do the survey or some other things, but we don't have anybody. And there doesn't seem to be any strategy for making sure we get one, except sort of vague promises by some of the commissioners. So what can we do? What are some concrete steps that we can do to get this more on the radar and actually maybe get this happen? It's frustrating. It was our number one priority when we did the presentation this year, when Barbara did that presentation, that wonderful presentation that had a video of all the things, wonderful things that were done when Warren was here as the historic planner, and none of them have been followed up. Nothing's been done since. And it's tragic for a city of the size of Boynton Beach. So we've run out of ideas. We don't have a strategy for the future. We're just sort of hitting things. It's just hit and miss as things come up. But we need long-term planning, and that necessitates a planner. So what can we do? What can we do to get one?
Well, I guess it'd be nice to have staff support for that, because they've got, I don't know how many planners now, 6?
So but we have we have, including director and myself, we have 6. Technically, actually, it's yes, 6 planners, and then we have 1 zoning technicians in the department.
Yeah, I just looked at like Delray Beach, they have a summer camp for kids on the history of
They
history
have-
of Delray Beach. There's so many things we could be doing.
They have about 15 planning and zoning
Yeah.
staff.
We just need one
To
historic
have
planner.
3 in historic,
Yes, I
We're a-
know.
we're a- we are-
historic preservationists.
We are a bigger city than Delray Beach. We're a bigger city than Green Acres by far, and Lake Worth. So we're just asking for this, because we used to have one, and so much was done when we had one. But nothing's getting done really that's focused on history. I mean, you guys are so busy, and you do so much. Good stuff, but you don't have the time to focus on that, because that's not your main job. This is what we need.
The problem with not having a planner is that you can't move forward. Like you said, you're not moving forward with a survey. The only time, when we come together, it's a paint color, or it's a sign, or it's, it's not a designation of a new district. It's not moving forward with keeping the history of Boynton Beach. And that's the goal. Boynton Beach has a rich heritage. The rich heritage is being developed, and we're losing it. And just because, the school across the street was saying, there's so many other resources. I drive down Seacrest, and I'm like, one 1925 house after another. And there's no district, and there's no saving them if somebody comes in. And a distinct difference in having a historic planner and not having one is that planner uses his or her time creating interest within the city, as you're saying, and interest within the other planners, so that it becomes an important element of city government in general.
Well, I think we're all in agreement that that's a very important thing that we need. And we're definitely treading water without a historic preservation planner.
I know this puts you in a delicate situation, but is there any advice you could give us on some concrete things we could do to try to get this budgeted somehow? When are budget meetings where these kinds of decisions are made? It's right now?
April, May, we start department-wise to gather information. It's pretty much a done deal by August.
Is there a way that you can make clear at those meetings when you go to them what our very, very passionate desire is, that we add this to the budget next year? Because we're kind of, we don't have the clout, really.
Means for authority.
Yeah, we
want
don't.
it, but
We just not,
Well, historic preservation,
We're a volunteer board showing up time after time to these meetings, and the city's not supporting this at all, from what I can tell. I mean, I'm sorry, but whoever wrote this report doesn't know the ins and outs of signage for a historic building. And so that is a glaring thing to me, to come to our board and show us a modern sign to go on the 1925 very important structure in our city. And I'm sorry, but for it to be recommended by whoever wrote the report, I did not understand that.
it's supposed to have a recommendation on the historic preservation plan.
And it should be, and we should also get a report that tells us, if you think that's in keeping, then you tell us why. We need to see, how does this set up with the standards, interior standards? How does this set up with your LERs? Tell us those details in a report, not just we approve it, or we think it's okay. That's not what we should be getting, and that's where a planner comes in, because they educate us more on what we're seeing and what we're doing.
I would also add, next time, I would appreciate it more than 1 week's notice.
I agree.
It kind of felt like the COA was spying upon us. So I don't know if it was spying upon you guys too.
It
And
says,
that's,
it says in the certificate there too, you're supposed to give 4 weeks' notice. And that's
Well,
certificate of
the
appropriateness.
typical process is the arts and culture director approach us about the options, and staff highly recommended freestanding sign. In other words, monument sign. That was our recommendations
I didn't see that in the report.
we it was an internal discussion with the arts and board, but they approach us why they needed this signage, how this could work for this function for the buildings. So at the end we provide staff reports supporting their ideas, because they are trying to really market their buildings. So, but that was our background. Now, for the formal process of this certificate of appropriateness, it, as long as they submit it 6 weeks prior to the meeting, then they give us the documents. We do a little back and forth to complete for the completion of the submittal, and then staff start reviewing those the reports, and then go through the practice and the reviews through internally, and then place an agenda. So we sent meeting agenda at least 1 week prior to your attentions. I believe it was sent out the last Monday for your attentions and for your reviews. But however, if you think that this is too short to notice this type of applications, we can definitely try to work harder to give you this type of applications and agendas published before the 1 week.
And this goes back to the need for an historic planner. Somebody that's internal with the city, where a department head gives something to staff, back and forth with them, and it comes to us, and we say, well, no, this isn't historically appropriate. All this could have been handled by an historic planner. I guess the frustration on this board for the past year, the commission, for the most part, says, hey, that sounds good. Department heads have said, yeah, well, we'll work on it. But nobody in the city says, you know what, here's the process, here's what the historic board can do to possibly help, and we keep asking every meeting, what do we do?
Well,
And there's been no real.
This particular sign locations, there was existing signs on this building.
Well, no, I'm sorry, I'm not even talking about the signage. It's one of several things that basically department heads and staff go back and forth, then it comes here, whatever the, situation is. With the former planner, that went to staff and the historic planner. And it was already, well, no, this is what the state of Florida says you can do and can't do. This is what the statute says, this is what the city ordinance, all that's internal. And basically, the city and this board is spinning their wheels.
Well, one of wanted to check on this factors is this building had wall signs in the historically they had, and what they are doing is the art and culture center wanted to place the signs, not exactly identical, but placing the signs. And per our design guideline metrics, which is permitted, that's why they are exactly here for your reviews. Typical signages in the city for the city properties, parks, buildings, library buildings, they're not subject to planning and zoning reviews. However, because of these historically designated locations, because of what they are proposing, they were here to present it and they're here to discuss about the signage. But based on the metrics that approved by the board back in the 2019, I believe, they're allowed to have the signs on the wall.
Actually, I was looking at those metrics, they're all a matter of interpretation.
Yes,
And our
correct.
interpretation is that they don't meet those metrics, and I think the
Yeah,
historic
that-
planner,
that's
I
a-
think
that's-
that's what Michael
yeah.
was saying.
Oh.
The historic planner would have known that,
Gotcha.
because that's their training. So that would have been all fixed before it got to our board. You know.
So I guess, not to belabor this, but as all of us have said, and just Ben said recently, everybody seems to be on board with the position of historic planner. We've been talking about this for the past year and a half, probably over maybe 2 years, and we can't get anything done, and I just don't see the city really advising, okay, well, here's the process. It's either a yay or nay. This was the same thing at budget time last year.
It's not like we've never had one.
Yeah.
The anomaly is the fact that we don't, and it goes on year after year now, which is having a cumulative effect on how historic preservation is being done in the city. And it's nothing negative that we're trying to say about the existing planning. It's just that we need this one in particular because this is an area that has a certain expertise, and and we're suffering as a city because we don't have someone on staff where that's their main focus.
Do you believe, Jay, that there is support in your planning and development department to bring back a historic preservation plan? Do you think there's support there?
You mean our department itself
Mhm.
to?
Or you think you guys are perfectly fine hobbling along like we hobble along?
I don't think this is really the place to talk my opinions. I don't think that my opinions will be really matter to this subject. So.
I know. I kind of put you on the spot there. Anyways,
Let me just get it to this point. Are there budget meetings going on right now that we can attend? Or are there ways in which we can submit reports to the people doing the budget, or something that we can do to sort of affect the budgeting process? Is there a way we can get into that?
I believe that there is probably be able to attend these budget workshops that coming up soon.
Do you know when that is?
I do not know. I have to reach out to city clerk's office and see if there is anything that coming up soon. Staff can find out about for you and then give you that information.
That'd be wonderful.
Sure.
Thank you. And that's open to the public or open at least to us if we want to go? Great.
Yeah, Ben, typically what happens, and Jay might agree with this as well, around March or April, each department head, staff, looks at, here's your amount of budget, and staff comes in and says, okay, well, here's what our department needs. Sometime around, I believe it's July or so, they've already made pretty much their internal budget. Around July, or I think it's July, public meetings, usually 2, possibly a third one, is put together. They typically, the last one, last year was, held around 1 o'clock, in the afternoon to 3. So, by that time, yes, the commission, yes, staff will listen to the public advising, can we look at doing this, but they've gone a couple months already submitting their budget. So, there is public input.
When is the next city commission meeting? I'm trying to look at the upcoming,
They meet
Meetings.
first and third Tuesday.
yes, but on this thing it says it's not till July 2nd. You know when that would be?
Yeah, I think they're.
I'm looking for the agendas, they don't have
I
an
believe
agenda.
don't quote me, but I believe it's May 21st. If memory serves, I'll have to take a look.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, Michael, Amanda is the one who puts in what she says are the budget needs for her department every year. So we would like her to put in for historic planner. How do we do that? How do we talk to her and get her to do it? Because she has indicated support in the past to us for this. What do we do? Can we ask to see the budget that she submitted?
Yeah, you can file a public record
To the
request.
meeting, so
And then from there,
that was,
Yeah,
I know, that's what
then
I'm
we
trying to
can
find.
see what she's asking for.
Can you do that as a board?
You can do that as an individual, because once we leave this room,
Yeah, I know.
I was told that the city manager has already prepared the budget,
Mm.
so.
The next city commission meeting will be June 18th. So June 4th meeting was cancelled.
What happened to the second meeting in May?
It was last week. Last week.
No, the second meeting
Yeah.
of this month.
That would be the,
Next Tuesday.
Oh, so they did. Yeah. So 27 they have. No. Wait a minute.
has that been canceled also?
No. So they did last week. Actually, no.
Typically the first. and
Wait a
third
minute. They did the
Tuesday.
7th. So.
So what's the date next Tuesday?
I believe it's the 21st.
Next Tuesday,
Yeah.
Yes, we have a May 27th. May 21st is a second meeting in May, and then we don't have any meetings in until June 18th.
so there is a meeting on May 21st.
Let me show you the. If you see this, do you see this website? Yes. So let me go back to. I'll go to main page. I'm trying to shrink this. There we go. And then, so this is the city main website, main page, and then there is, you see the calendar here. So we just had last Tuesday meeting, and then this one is going to be, when I clicked May 21st, you will see city commission meeting.
Can you see the agenda for that by clicking more details?
Yes. Yeah. So usually the agenda is just like a historic preservation meeting. It's published 1 week before the meeting, and right now today, so very possibly it will be published tomorrow or Wednesday morning, and you'll be able to see. You see the click here to view agenda, and then it takes to see. It's that means it's not.
It's not published yet.
Yeah,
Correct.
They typically, I think they do it about a week
Yes,
before.
1 week prior to the meeting.
Well, it's not even on that list.
You mean like agenda?
It's not on the list, the upcoming events, it's not on that list. Not just the agenda, the whole meeting is not on that list.
But because it's not published yet. Once it's published, you will see
Well,
it.
none of these are published agendas, but they're still listed for the date,
Yeah, that can be
that's
seen.
all I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
oh, the future dates are
yeah,
showing.
because they show July. You see, but the
Yeah.
rest are missing.
Well, my suggestion would be to individually fire off emails to the city commission begging for them to consider including that in there.
The best idea we can do.
Yeah, if, you need the email addresses, let me know. I can say them out loud right this minute if you want me to, because I have them memorized. Or we can email them out.
We can look more from this.
I can save that email.
Mhm. I mean, I'm happy to, I can email them to you from minutes, okay.
Okay. Can I ask one more question? Are we done with that topic?
Mhm, go ahead.
So, how long am I on this board?
How long have I been this board?
I'm asking you if there's when do I go off of this board? You know,
Yeah,
term limit or
expiration.
whatever, expiration.
Catherine,
I
question.
would know.
Oh, that's the city clerk's managers.
The membership list I have says that you want to remain seated until replaced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if the board member is missing the meetings, then there is a possibility of we call it as absence and without the reasons. No absence without the reasons. So then it's possible that city clerks follow their procedures.
Thank you.
Your term expired or?
Yes.
Her term expired March 24th.
But then I got the email saying come to the meeting, so I came to the meeting, and I'm still listed on the board, so that's, my question was answered, thank you so much.
So there's one person on the board, I don't think it's ever been here. How long did you stay on the board and not be able to keep off?
I think it's 3 meetings or
3 meetings? Okay.
Since we only meet full-time 4 times a year. Yeah, who is it, where is the one that,
Roy Smith.
oh yeah, Roy Smith.
Yeah.
We don't even know who that is. Roy Smith has never showed up. He got appointed, but none of us know who the heck he is.
Was that the gentleman that tried for 2 boards and?
I got no idea. I don't know, they told Vermicio he had to get off of our board because he wanted to apply to be on the crab board, this CRA board. I thought you were allowed to be on 2 boards at a time.
Make a note.
Not anymore, you can't be on
Update
2
the
boards
board.
at a time anymore.
Update the board list.
We've got so many people volunteering, don't we?
It's your Roy,
Okay,
Thomas.
Catherine wants to volunteer.
we're Catherine. Okay, so, I mean, that's my best suggestion, send, fire off an email begging, you know. And be sure to copy Amanda on it, because I don't know whether she doubts our sincerity on this matter, this issue that we want no offense to you guys, no offense to you guys. You're trying your best, but we would like a real planner, please. Hopefully you're not offended. Okay, so let's go to 7A, which is a discussion regarding the possible designation of properties to our local register. I had tossed out at the last meeting that there's some locations that we could consider, since we found out that we have a magic fairy wand and we can go around town and be putting things on our local register. So there's a couple of black churches that we could that are certainly eligible to be put on the local register. And the Little League Field and the Wilbright Cemetery. And I don't know what to think about the bridge. Ben had tossed out the Ocean Avenue Bridge.
It's been redone.
Yeah, my thought on that would be, it is historic, the location,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps, plaquage or something like that, you know, to give somebody walking by an idea, hey, this bridge, the bridge across the intercoastal was, created originally in 1911, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, we could think about something to memorialize the bridge. As far as, local, register, no, it's been,
Tweaked.
yeah, it's been
Tweaked so many
basically
times.
put in the trash and here's new, so.
Yeah. But, I mean, the St. Paul's AME,
Yeah,
and what's the other one, St. John's, I think.
yeah.
What's the other one, there's another one, I asked Janet, DeVries, and she gave me a list. St. John's. So, I mean, the option is to approach the pastors of these churches and see if they're interested. But here we go again. If we had a planner, we could send the planner to do that.
Which you used to do,
Well,
yeah.
they would do the report.
Yeah.
You know, that's, we're not set up to do the reports for ourselves.
Exactly.
Is that true?
So, and the Little League Field, the Little League Field is eligible. I mean, what do you guys think about the St. Paul's is it AME, St. Paul's AME? And the St. John's? I mean, those are the three that I would consider.
I didn't see that cemetery.
The cemetery? 4, okay. What do you guys think?
The cemetery that's in the heart of Boynton, what cemetery is that?
This is the one that's over on the Little League.
Well, right.
No, I mean,
No, but that's what I'm talking about,
Right.
because it has, their graves are that date back to very early days on the beach.
no, I
The
agree.
Barton, are you talking about the
That-
Barton?
that-
It's already on our local register.
That's what I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
it is, okay,
We did that one.
that's what I thought, okay.
But the Sims Cemetery, I don't know if there's a portion of the Sims Cemetery that's probably also old enough.
The study that, Warren did, Warren Adams, was that on Barton? Remember they did, the land thing?
Ground
Yeah.
penetrating radar, yes.
Which cemetery was that?
That was the Barton.
Okay,
And they ran the ground penetrating radar along the wall at the Sims Cemetery too.
okay.
Because there were graves, in the path of I-95 that they were supposed to have moved to those spots in the Sims.
Did they?
It's questionable, the ground penetrating radar was a little bit empty. Not good news. Another can of worms. Anyway, so what do you think about those 4 things? The Wilbright Cemetery?
Can a park be designated?
Sure.
Okay.
What part are you thinking?
No, that's.
Oh, the Little League Park?
Yeah, Little League in the, Memorial Park, okay.
The Little League Park.
What about the Methodist church across the street,
Yeah,
1934, I believe?
yeah, well,
That's a good one, too.
we can put it on the list. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5 things.
Can you repeat it again, 5 locations?
Sure. Are you writing them down?
I am trying to write it down.
Okay. Well, we got the Wilbright and Seacrest Cemetery. I'm not sure what do they call that one? Wilbright Cemetery?
Point Beach Memorial Cemetery.
That's Boynton Beach Memorial Cemetery. You know where that is, right, Jay?
Yes.
Okay, across from the water plant. St. Paul's, AME. I don't know what AME stands for.
African Methodist Festival.
African Episcopal.
Okay,
AME, yeah.
okay. St. John's.
which is what Baptist.
And no S on the word
Is that the
John.
missionary Baptist church?
Wait, Catherine said something.
It's Saint John, no S.
No S, okay. I'll cross my S off. And we think it's a Baptist church?
I believe so.
You think so? Okay. So St. John Baptist Church.
Missionary Baptist Church.
There you go.
Oh, fancy. Okay. And the Little League Field on Wheelwright, which has been in existence since 1957 or earlier even. I think 57 was the newspaper article that I saw. And then the Methodist Church, does that have a fancy name? The Methodist Church across the street?
United Methodist. That St. John Baptist is very old.
Mm-hmm.
Across from the city hall.
John's making away, really. Does it say how old St. Paul's is?
I haven't got that one.
Oh, okay.
St. Paul's was born originally in Federal downtown,
That
right?
they carried, the citizens picked it up and carried it over the railroad tracks. And that brings up another topic that we need a planner for. Let's go gather some history of the black families in Boynton Beach.
First church.
Geez, I have a mind block right now. Who was the
It's
gentleman,
Methodist. don't you?
Pickle, the artist?
Pickell,
Pickle.
Conrad Pickell.
His, on Federal, north of, Woolbright, his studios, was that building built in the 70s, or, you know which one I'm talking about,
The
right?
triangular shaped
Yeah.
one? Yeah. No, that's old.
What's the address? 101?
Fantasia.
Oh,
He
yeah.
named it Fantasia.
101 West Cypress.
But that's designated already.
Mm-mm,
Isn't that-
mm-mm.
How can it not be? Okay.
Yep, nope. You know, it's, I don't know, whoever owns it now is very secretive. I mean, we've tried to knock on the door to get in and see the inside of it, and they didn't even answer the door.
There's some kind of article online, because I read about it, it's very, very, very interesting.
All right, you guys. Well, that's 5 things. What do you think?
That's a good start.
That's a good start. And how are we gonna start when we don't have a planner? These are the 5 things that could be included in your email to the city commissioners.
Can one of the planners that's now working in the city do it?
You're supposed to have
Can one of the people in your office do
education
this?
in historic planning. You're supposed to have some architecture and so forth, because technically you're supposed to be able to read plans and understand. But
Yeah.
I
The
can
secretaries,
might be,
the secretaries.
that might be
list,
better
yeah.
than not having anyone designated, I guess. You're getting,
Bogged down. Well, I don't know, does anybody wanna make a motion about any of these things? We could maybe pick 1 or 2 to just plow ahead on.
So what do we need to do next if we designate these? What has to be done?
We need, reports written, like the report that Warren was hired to write for us on the,
we make
So
a
if we,
request.
this is the question then, this is where it gets down to the nitty gritty. When we want to designate historic properties, who in your office writes the reports?
We have to contract it out to do the reports.
Or can you do that for these properties? Can we ask you to do those?
I have to speak with the director about, we have a budget, but it's limited, how much we can spend per year, so I have to speak with her. If you prioritize which one starting it, and we can go from there too.
okay, that's a great idea.
has,
St. John's was 1908.
Okay, that can be number one.
But we need to talk to the pastor first, right? Make sure they wanna have it designated, or does it not matter?
I think if we made a report and then took that to them, it might make sense. Because they might not understand it if we had the history to work with them in front of us. And also to be able to give them, show them benefits that being designated historic gives them, you know?
I think there's a concern also, even amongst homeowners, because they're just not aware that we don't deal with the interior of the building. You know, we
They don't
don't,
understand that.
yeah. You know, our concern is just the exterior of the building, so.
Is that church, the original structure from 1908? It doesn't look that old.
That I don't know.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think it's from 1908.
Okay.
I think it's a
But maybe
newer
it's been in
building.
that location.
Could be, but I don't think
Missionary
that building
church.
is that old, not even close.
Which one is St. John? Is that the one that's,
it's the one facing Seacrest, isn't it?
Yeah.
it has real pretty stained glass windows? Is that it? It's kind of a box, it's just square. And the other one must be the one that's on, what is it, 12th or 13th or something?
Maybe we should wait till next meeting,
To
when
see
we
when it comes
investigate the
in.
properties, to see what their age is, when they were built, and all that kind of thing, and then we can prioritize.
Well, there's
Do
two
we have the
things,
staff do that?
there's two things on our list that the city owns
Baptist church.
that we could proceed with. The city owns the Boynton Beach Memorial Cemetery. Okay, that could be number one. We already own that, so that
In
we,
the ballpark?
yeah, and the ballpark.
Okay, let's start with those two.
Those are two things that we already own,
That's a good idea.
that we don't, and the other three, the churches, can all be investigated a little bit further. Is that what you'd like to do?
Sure, and we may think of some other properties between now and then.
Sure.
But we should come knowing their age and when they were built and all of that, before we designate.
Okay, that's a good idea. All right, so it looks like we have two. All right, so if we would like to proceed with adding the two city-owned properties from our list to our local register, you want us to make a motion?
Didn't you say the St. John's Missionary Church?
Well, we're going to investigate the churches a little bit further.
Okay.
Since,
Okay,
since the city doesn't own those,
correct.
you see,
Don't know their age.
the two things that the city owns are the Boynton Beach Memorial Cemetery on Wilbright,
Woolbright and the Seacrest?
yes,
Okay.
and the Little League Field. The city is the owner of those two things. So we would like to proceed with adding those two city-owned properties to our local register. Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we have the city staff, follow up on a report for both the city-owned cemetery at Woolbright and Seacrest and the Little League Field to be able to designate those two properties as historic in Boynton Beach.
Okay? You got that motion, Catherine? Okay, is there a second to the motion? Michael seconded it? Okay. We have a motion on the floor to add the Boynton Beach Memorial Woolbright Cemetery and the Little League Field to our local register. We're going to take steps to initiate adding them to our local register. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, anybody else have comments, questions? I think we've made great progress. I guess we'll find out.
Wait a minute.
got comments by board members? Anybody wanna talk,
Right.
say,
Because it's
say more
mentioned.
things? We have nobody in the audience?
Barbara,
Yes.
just really wanted to disclose, even though you made a two motion about the adding local registry, well, to prepare the reports for cemetery and the little legal field, I still like mentioned, as I stated, that I still have to speak with the director if we have that budget available to hire consultant do the reports.
Mhm. How much did it cost us to pay Warren?
I do not remember. That was nearly 1 year ago for the
I would like to know, I mean, is it thousands of dollars or is it $100?
Again, I do not remember. I have to. She said that each study costs about the 3 to 5 grants.
3 to 500
Okay.
Thousand.
Grand.
Grant was 1,000.
to write a report, a 50-page report?
How much?
It was, yeah. That's
to
my
five.
understanding. Like 3 to 5 grand depends on the size of properties, and depends on the research that goes along with it.
Well, it's still cheaper
And
than
a full-time planner.
I'm sorry, I'm gobsmacked. So we paid Warren Adams $3,000
Um,
I could see that.
yeah.
It's a
for
lot
a
of
50-page
hours.
report?
Well, it's not just the reports. He has to do all the research is done, and then all the writings and do his analysis done too.
The statute,
So-
it sounds like a lot of money, but something like that,
Okay.
it possibly might not be.
Well, the interesting thing about the reports is that every report also has the history of Boynton Beach, which does not have to be rewritten each time. You know, the only thing that has to be written is about the parcel, okay? It's not like he has to rewrite, brain power the history of Boynton Beach each time. That's a hit the button kind of thing. Okay, anyways, we would like to do that.
Well, again, it's not, the staff cannot commit to any.
No, I'm not asking you to do
Well,
I'm telling you that's what we wanna do, and that's where we would like to proceed if we can. And if we have to include requests for money to write reports in our emails to the city commission, we can do that too. And now we have a good reason to ask for it, because we have set a priority of city-owned properties that we would like to add to the local register. Anything else? You okay? Everything?
When is our next meeting?
I don't know, sometime in 2024, I hope.
we are, July is the meeting, very possibly once the art culture building will have a different type of a signs, and then we think that might be middle of July. I would say 10th, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. July 8th. Actually, July 8th.
But there's a possibility we would have a meeting earlier than that if we need to approve the new sign, that's what you're saying?
But based on his explanation today, they still have to have discussion internally, and very likely design might not be ready to submit to us. So it might be July 8th might be the targeted date.
Which is 2 months, right?
July 8th would be the second Monday. We generally do second Mondays, it's the Monday before CRA meetings. So that's what we're shooting for, July 8th?
That's a typical our meeting schedule.
Okay.
Second Monday of the month.
I agree.
So just 2 months apart, not 3.
Well, this is, we're probably gonna have to, that's probably gonna be like a special because of the sign thing, yeah. Used to be each month. That's when you, if you missed 3 meetings, you were out. But now, it's not. Okay, anything else? Anybody else? Comments? Comments by staff?
No, sir.
Nothing
No,
else?
ma'am.
You've had enough fun for tonight? Okay, seeing no objections? I see no objections. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody. You can knock yourself out. We don't pledge or pray at my meetings.